When Dodge introduced the all-new 8th generation Charger last year, it was met with a lukewarm reaction at best, especially from hardcore enthusiasts. And that's because the Charger Daytona didn't actually have a gas engine underneath the hood. Well, for 2026, Dodge is looking to rectify that with the introduction of this. This is the Charger 6-pack. It revives an old name back from the 1970s, and underneath the hood, you're gonna find a proper internal combustion engine, a twin-turbo inline-6, making up to 550 horsepower. So today we're actually out here at M1 Concourse because we're finally able to check out the new Charger 6-pack in the sheet metal. So now that we're doing so, let's go ahead and take a detailed first look. Now, of course, for those of you who remember the 6-pack name, it refers to the triple dual carburetors that you had back in the 1970s from the original Charger. There were a total of 6 barrel carburetors. That's where the 6-packs come from. The 6-pack name comes from. However, for this new version, the 6-pack now refers to the number of cylinders that's underneath the hood, because this powertrain, as you guys know, we first got our taste of it in the Wagoneer and, of course, the Ram RHO. It's the company's 3-liter twin turbocharged direct injection Hurricane inline-6. This is the motor that is replacing, of course, the Hemi V8 across the lineup, although technically the Hemi is kind of making a comeback now that Tim Kuniskis is CEO of Stellantis once again. But here in the Charger 6-pack, you have the most powerful variant. So Dodge will actually offer it in 2 different flavors. There's the base RT, which has the standard output making 420 horsepower and 468 pound-feet of torque. But of course, this model that we're showing you is the Scat Pack, which means you have the high output version making 550 horsepower. That's the most power you're going to find out of the Hurricane to date, and it also makes 531 foot-pounds of torque. So again, most power, most torque you're going to find. Dodge actually says this is the most powerful muscle car that you can find for under $55,000. It all goes out through an 8-speed automatic transmission built by ZF, and all of the 6-pack Chargers are going to be all-wheel drive, but it also gives you, at the touch of a button, a rear drive mode so you can easily do those smoky drifts, the burnouts. There's even a line lock functionality. So again, Dodge is preserving, of course, their muscle car heritage. Now, we don't have final fuel economy figures just yet for this powertrain, but I also expect it to be much more efficient versus the old V8s it's replacing. Dodge claims this powertrain with this, the high output motor is going to do 0 to 60 in around 3.9 seconds with a top speed of 177 miles an hour. The RT has a slightly lower top speed at around 168 miles an hour. And of course, because this vehicle drops that 100 kilowatt hour battery pack, it has also lost nearly 1,000 pounds. This model here weighing in at around 4,700 pounds, which is still heavy, but it's also not the ridiculously heavy, weight of the electric Daytona model. But let's go ahead and close up the hood here and talk about the exterior styling. Now, first of all, this exterior color is called Red Eye, and it certainly is a really bright color that suits the whole persona of the latest Charger. I actually really love the design of this vehicle. Aside from, again, the bulging hood here that you have the 6-pack graphic, the only other change that you see at the front fascia is the front bumper itself. As you can see, there's an area here where there's actual functional air intake openings. This is, of course, needed for the intercooler to cool that twin-turbo Hurricane inline-6. The headlights, you can see, looks a lot more like the previous generation Challenger, because remember, Dodge got rid of the Challenger. They're all basically Chargers in a 2- or 4-door configuration. You have that Fratzog emblem in the center there that is also illuminated. You have an LED light bar that's very trendy going across the front of the vehicle, and you have reflector full LED headlights for this vehicle, which include LED daytime running lights, LED turn signals. There's also a front splitter here that's kind of like a graphite gray gloss in its design. And overall, with the parking sensors, the 360 camera, this model is the Plus package, so it gets the full 360 camera. This vehicle is instantly recognizable as a Charger or a Challenger based on what you used to have. But overall, I think the changes that they made weren't really necessary, aside from just needing it for cooling. This is already a handsome vehicle, especially when it was first introduced as the Daytona. Now, moving around the side profile of the vehicle, the Charger is definitely a big car. In fact, even with the 2- or the 4-door configuration, they're actually the same length at 206.6 inches long with a 121-inch long wheelbase. You can see right behind me over there is the blue Charger that you're going to see. That's the EV. You can see there's a slight difference for the front fascia, but the 4-door model has the same overall length as the 2-door version, which I actually kind of think that Dodge should have made the 2-door a little bit shorter. This is one of the longest 2-doors you're going to find in the industry. You can see the wheels. This particular one, being the Scat Pack model, has the upgraded 20-inch alloy wheels with nearly 16-inch rotors at the front, clamped down by a 6-piston red-painted Brembo caliper, which is, again, a really big brake design for something like this. You also have wide tires at 305 by 35 ZR20. These general summer tires are going to give you the grip that you need, but again, this is all-wheel drive, so it's going to be able to launch really well. And it also has, again, the Scat Pack badge over here with these black painted mirrors. Behind me, you can hear Tommy from TFL is actually filming that Durango jailbreak, so you might hear that Hemi V8 going off, which again is a wonderful sound, but this also has a nice sound as well, which we'll talk about later on. You can see the roof. It's got that panoramic glass roof, which is fantastic for letting in some light, although it doesn't technically open up to vent air. And then of course over here, you're going to find a proper gas cap, as you can see, or a filler neck, because this vehicle runs on dead dinosaurs as opposed to electricity, which is how I think the enthusiasts are going to want to drive this vehicle. Now looking at the rear, you can see the rear design really hasn't changed. You can see there's a big spoiler at the back. It's got that full-length light bar for the LED taillights, which kind of reminds me a little bit of, again, the current generation, the previous generation Charger. And then, of course, the big change is when you look at the rear bumper, it spells out Charger back there, but you actually have dual oval exhaust tips. They're actually available in like a dark chrome or a bright chrome, and the exhaust is actually an active exhaust. Dodge says when you have it in sport mode, it opens up a baffle, and it's going to give you those pops and crackles. Let's go ahead and fire it up so you guys can hear how it sounds real quick. So even though it doesn't have the same V8 snarl as the old Scat Pack model, I have to admit, the straight six is pleasing to my ear. It's also a smooth engine. It has the pops and crackles. So I think people are going to be really pleased with it, especially once the aftermarket gets a hold of it and starts tuning it. They start putting a louder exhaust on it. Now, in terms of the cargo area, what's great about the new Charger is the fact that this is actually a liftback. And because it's a liftback, it has some of the biggest cargo space you're going to find for any two-door muscle car. Dodge says that when you have the trunk open here, it has around 27 cubic feet of storage space, or I'm sorry, 23.7 cubic feet of storage space, which is a fairly large amount. And if you fold down the back seat, it expands it out to around 37 cubic feet of storage space. So again, that space, while it's obviously not as big as like an SUV, is going to be significantly more, over double the space versus what you get in the old Charger or the old Challenger. There's also, if you look underneath the floor over here, you can see there's supposed to be a way that you can lift this up, but there's a little bit of underfloor storage over there. This model that we're showing you is kind of an early pre-production model, but it's really nicely carpeted. You can actually pack up stuff to the roof, although there is a sloping roof line. But overall, again, if you want to use this as your only vehicle, the new Charger, whether you go for the gas or the electric model, is going to offer a lot of practicality underneath the liftgate. Now moving on to the interior of the Dodge Charger 6-pack. As you can see, just like in the Daytona, the all-electric model, the interior seems pretty much exactly the same. This particular one that we're showing you has that red exterior with the demonic red upgraded suede and Alcantara full leather bucket seats. These seats are definitely redesigned, of course, for the new generation. They are comfortable, supportive. They're also heated and ventilated, and the driver's seat adjusts in 12 different ways. You also get a 2-person memory. These are technically an upcharge. You have to go for the Plus package, of course, to actually add these seats. Base versions of the Charger 6-pack will kind of have like a cloth and leatherette combination, where you also have a leatherette as the standard seats on the Plus model. Now getting inside, as you can see, it has that typical low step-in height for a muscle car coupe. In fact, this vehicle, I believe, has around 5 inches of ground clearance. As I shut the door, door has a pretty solid sounding thunk. It is a heavy door, of course, because this is such a big vehicle. Now, as you can see, here's the key fob for the car. It's technically Stellantis' new intelligent access push button start system with the Dodge emblem at the back with the new emblem, some carbon fiber looking trim on the actual fob itself. You can see it has your typical buttons here for unlock, lock, remote start. You can also open up the lift gate because it's an electronic lift gate along with a panic function. And then the start stop button is located down here by the shifter. It's a really interesting like square octagon shape, but put your foot on the brake and the vehicle starts right up. It actually has a nice little burble from the exhaust when you first start it up. So that, again, reminds you that this vehicle has its performance intentions. And that's something that you don't get, of course, with the Daytona, although it does produce some of those fake sounds. But that right there is an authentic sound. So I really appreciate that. Now looking at the rest of this cabin, the interior of the new Charger, I personally really loved when I first had a chance to see it. It has a lot of premium touches in here, especially if you go for the upper trim. You can see the instrument panel has a 12.3 inch display. For the driver information, that's standard. You can also get an upgraded 16-inch display. As you can see over here, this is a 12.3-inch center display that runs off of Uconnect 5, which is their latest software, of course. It does have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You can see that's Martin's phone that I have connected right now. It's very quick and snappy. It's easy to use. It takes up mostly the entire screen with some additional native buttons off to the side. You also have heated and cooled seats, which are located here on the actual screen themselves. They are a touch-sensitive control. Same thing with the heated steering wheel, which I don't love, but for the most part, it starts up and gets going pretty easily. When you go back to the native system here, it's relatively quick and snappy and easy to use. You can go into an attitude adjustment here, which is where you can adjust the ambient lighting. As you can see, if I start to change that, it actually changes the color right there on the dash, which is very bright. It's very intricate. It's something that the old Charger and Challenger just didn't even have. So that, again, really shows off its premium intentions here. Now, looking at the rest of the door panels, you can see you have real leather covering the upper door panel here with this kind of textured plastic trim, which looks beautiful against the ambient lighting. Down here, this is where you rest your elbow. It's also nice and padded. The window controls are one touch up, down for both windows. They have a high quality feel to them. You also have this little button here to open up the door. It's actually an electronic latch system, which is very modern, but it also gets the job done. The steering wheel, I love the way the new steering wheel looks. It's got a flat bottom and a flat top design. It also has a power tilt and telescoping adjustability, which you typically don't find in the segment. It's got these paddle shifters behind the wheel to control the 8-speed automatic. I love the big 16-inch display over here, which looks fantastic with the beautiful graphics. You also get a heads-up display on this trim, and then the leather that's on the door panels carries over onto the dash and the upper portion as well. There's kind of like a silver painted or gray painted plastic here with the Charger logo. I would have liked if there was some genuine aluminum trim, but again, I'm not entirely sure what the price point of this model is just yet. But down here at the center stack, there's lots of buttons and lots of storage. First of all, here's the pistol grip shifter, which looks really retro modern. It's also very easy to use. It's got the traditional PRND and L. Of course, you put the vehicle into reverse. There's your full 360 camera that you get with the Plus package. It's part of an option package as well. It gives you trajectory, distance markers, parking sensors, really good graphics too. So it's going to help you when you're driving a vehicle that's this large. It's kind of important. There's a wireless phone charging pad here, of course. You've got actual hard buttons to turn on and off the lane departure alert, the auto start stop. Another storage area here for another smartphone, although technically the wireless charger is only one. It would have been nice if they did dual. Down here in the center stack, you can see there's some leather covering this area, cup holders, and I like how Dodge resisted the urge to put piano black plastic here. I think this is definitely going to be, the wiser choice to keep it from getting scratched up and looking like crap after a few years. If you open up the center console, you can see this is not the biggest center console storage area, but you get basically another 12-volt power outlet in there. Your USB-Cs are actually going to be located here, so kind of keep that in mind. This is also a nice padded storage area. The seats, like I mentioned earlier, this demonic red is optional. You can take your pick between either black or this demonic red. I kind of want Dodge to offer different colors, like a brown would look really good, especially on their new green exterior color, which is over there. Above me, you can see big panoramic glass roof that lets in a ton of light. It's also fairly dark tinted, but there is no retractable shade or the ability to kind of frost and defrost it a little bit. So this could be a problem if you guys don't really like bright sunlight always entering the cabin. The glove compartment, you can see, is a bin style. It's stamped but not lined with felt. It offers additional storage over here. And for an early pre-production car, I have to say the build quality seems pretty good. The sight lines are also good, although you do have to get used to the hood bulge, which I personally love. It kind of gives you that classic muscle car feel. The rearview mirror, as you can see, is auto dimming. There's no digital camera mirror, at least not on this model. I'm not entirely sure if it's available as an option, but overall it gives you the exact same feel and quality and premium ambiance as the electric Charger, but of course with the real engine note, the actual touches here to let you know that this is actually a gas-powered vehicle as opposed to an EV. Now, the other beauty about the Charger is the fact that it has a pretty big back seat, and that's because this vehicle is so huge. Now, as you can see, if you want to get back here, you basically pull on this little strap right here, and I'll actually show you guys what that's like. So I'll go ahead and do that here so you can see really quick. Now, as you can see, when you do that, the seat actually moves forward, and I'll bring the seat back. As you can see, it's not actually coming back into its position, but Dodge says when you're sitting back here, you have around 37 inches of legroom. 37 inches is more than a lot of compact cars, so it really shows that really long wheelbase, the long overall length. The four-door actually has the same backseat space as the two-door model, which kind of makes sense. They're the same length, but in terms of features back here, it's somewhat padded where you'd rest your elbow. This area is all hard touch plastic. There's a small window here, so the four-door is going to give you a little more space at that, but you can see you have rear seat air vents back here. You have 3-level heated seats as well, which I didn't expect to find. 2 USB-C charging ports, which is nice. And then if you want to fold this down, you can see there's an armrest with 2 cup holders. And then in terms of the headroom space, that sloping roof does eat into your headroom space a little bit, but at 5'7", I have maybe like a ½ an inch of additional clearance. So again, for a 2-door coupe, this can actually carry full-size adults, average-size adults. So that's one of the reasons why I think a lot of people are going to really like the insane practicality that you get with this model, even though it only has 2 doors. Now, if you guys aren't into 2-door coupes, the 4-door model, which we finally are able to see in person here, obviously has the same kind of look and feel as the old Charger sedan, because remember, there's no more Challengers. Now, Charger in either 2 or 4-door configuration has the same overall length at 206.1, and it really shows off the proportions well, where sometimes I thought the 2-door looked a little bit too long, where I wanted Dodge to make it shorter. This, again, looks like a proper 4-door muscle car, and of course, with the addition of the doors back here, I'll go ahead and open it up, I'll show you. You have basically the same legroom at around 37 inches back here, but it's just a much easier way to get in and out of the vehicle. I also want to point out that the roofline still is relatively low. I have to kind of duck my head to get back here, but once I'm back here, I'm definitely noticing it has a smidge more headroom versus the 2-door, and the legroom space feels pretty much the same. You still have the same features like the heated rear seats, USB ports, actual air vents back here, along with a armrest that folds down, gives you 2 cup holders. So again, if you guys are looking for a big American muscle car sedan, the Charger is one of the few ones out there, and you also get a back seat that can carry full-size adults. Now, when I first had a chance to drive the Charger Daytona, the electric version, I was simply impressed with the car in general. Even though the electric propulsion powertrain wasn't necessarily my preferred choice, especially when you have sheet metal like this looks like a classic muscle car. After spending the day looking at the Charger 6-pack, this is essentially the powertrain that I personally think Dodge should have launched it with, because as you guys saw, it's available in 2 specific outputs, the RT with 420 horsepower, and then of course the Scat Pack with 550 horsepower. That's 50 more horsepower versus what you get in the Ford Mustang Dark Horse. And of course, Dodge is also promising to deliver that power at a lower price point versus the Ford. And also, if you guys aren't a fan of the red exterior color, this is called Green Machine. It's a very dark green. It's a new color for 2026. I actually was kind of hoping the Green Machine was going to be a brighter green, but I appreciate the fact that green is kind of making a comeback. This one model that we're showing here is also the Scat Pack model, although it technically has a different wheel setup. It has an all-season tire setup, so this is a more road-going model. Still has Brembo brakes, but they're not actually red painted. But overall, as you can see, the green color certainly gives it a much more tamer look that also flies under the radar a little bit more versus the red exterior color. Now, if you guys are looking to get your hands on the Charger 6-pack with, of course, the gas engine, these are actually available to order at your local Dodge dealership starting on August 11th. And Dodge says they're going to start deliveries of the 2-door Scat Pack by the end of this year. If you want the RT or the 4-door, you're gonna have to wait until the early part of 2026. And Dodge has already announced pricing for this vehicle. You can order the base RT 2-door with the 420 horsepower inline 6 for $49,995. Now, of course, that's plus a $2,000 destination charge. If you guys want the Scat Pack with the extra power, like extra 130 horsepower, Dodge says it's only gonna cost you $5,000 more at $54,995, which makes this vehicle, again, the cheapest car that you can find for under $55,000 that has well over 500 horsepower, which again kind of falls in line with what Dodge offers. They always offer a lot of horsepower for money. And of course, with the 6-pack version, the high output version at $55,000, it undercuts something like a Mustang Dark Horse by about $10,000, which is pretty unheard of. The other thing I want to point out is if you guys were interested in the Daytona is the electric model. That's still going to be available for 2026. However, they're only going to offer it for now as a Scat Pack Daytona with 670 horsepower, and Dodge has also reduced the price of that model to just $59,995. That's a $14,000 price drop versus the 2025 version. So really, Dodge has 3 different flavors. There's $49,995 for the RT, $54,995 for the Scat Pack with 550 horsepower, or $59,995 for the 670 horsepower all-electric model. So Dodge is offering a lot of performance for money. I'll have to wait until we get one for to drive for a couple hours at the drive event to see what this is like on the actual road. but it is without a doubt a strong amount of value. So I'll be really curious to see what the final pricing ends up of these models here, because of course it does come with options. I wouldn't be surprised to see this one here come in at around 70 or 65,000. That model over there is probably closer to 70 because of the upgrades that it has to the interior and of course the performance. But with all that said, hope you guys have enjoyed my full overview on the brand new 2026 Dodge Charger 6-pack six-pack in the Scat Pack trim. If you're also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram at redline_reviews. Like us on Facebook, and as always, guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.